good evening, wherever you are in this part of the world. Welcome to W.O.R.K.S show. Your host, Jossine Abrahams, broadcasting from London, United Kingdom, having my show, which is The Spring of Life. With me on air is the director of W.O.R.K.S, Marina Nani. Welcome to the show, Marina.
Wow, Justine, I'm so excited to be here. Wow, the spring of life. What made you call your show the spring of life? What had happened to you? What brought you to this moment in your life when you are sharing from your heart, you are broadcasting from your heart, your passion. You love people, you love their success, you love them to reinvent their life. What happened to you? What made you the person who you are right now?
Right. I'm going to share with you my story, Marina. I was very young, in the early teenage years. I had a lot of mishap in life. This is the story from my book, Case of Blessings, Being a Spinster. This is the life I led throughout. I had a very good upbringing from my parents. But what happened as we go along, I was in school during those time where the war was going on. So what happened is the soldiers came around and all things happened as we grow, or as we grow older with soldiers around us, and our life was being abused as children, and it didn't go very well. It really damaged us psychologically, and as we grow older, you couldn't explain what was happening to you, to your parents, because culture-wise, you could be considered as somebody who is not, who doesn't take care of yourself, who doesn't listen to their parents, to explain, just explaining to your parents that this is what has happened to me in my culture is sometimes not advisable, because they seem to think all the girls have got the know-how of growing up, because we have these aunties and uncles who are helping to groom you up, as we grow, so that you'll be a wonderful woman in the society. But that alone was a big drawback for me, because I had to go through it alone and I couldn't tell anybody else. So as I grow older, I decided, oh, well, this is the time I should get, married and start my own family. So one thing led to another. Then I met this young man who has just come out of the war as well. They were fighting. So we got involved and got married. We had our daughter. It was wonderful marriage. That was the very best of me. I enjoyed that. All of a sudden, something happened. Then he had a car accident and he died. Right. Where do I go from there? I'm only young. I'm in my 20s, and I've got a child. I have a job, but well, it was a stable job, but Africa, it wasn't paying that much, but I was surviving because I had a husband, so it was well enough to keep us going. But then he is now dead. What do I do? As you know, Africa, there's time for mourning in the families, so you have to mourn your husband and genuinely do it. And whilst you're mourning in Africa, they dress you in black. Um, this is what you go through. As time goes on, it comes to a certain stage where they say, okay, enough. It depends with the family, really. If they want to make it longer, they can make it longer for you to mourn. So that means you can go for at least from 6 months to almost a year or two. It depends with them if they've got money to undress you, to take you to, I mean, they will let you know that this is the time you can take off the veil and the black dress and be free again. But once they say free again, that means this is the time they allow you to go to your parents' house. Whatever he had accomplished with this family, with this husband of yours, the late, you have to leave it in their house, because it doesn't belong to you anymore when he dies. So what happens? You have to go without. Right. So I have left this family now. They've cleared me. In my case, I call it cleared because they were keeping me there all this time for a year. I stayed there for a year, which wasn't bad anyway, considering to other families, because other families, they can let you stay 2, 3 years. For myself, it was okay, and they didn't treat me that badly in the first marriage. Fine, fair enough. I've left. I decided to go again. There I was only 21, 22. Then I decided to go back to work. I started working one thing led to another. Then I thought, okay, let me get married again. So I got married. I got somebody else because it's the pressure you get when you are at home, when you are in Africa. When you're at a certain stage, people begin to look at you like there's something. Are you cursed or something? Why is she not getting married? So I thought I was doing the best thing to get married again. Right, yes. I told my parents I now want to get married. Right, our marriage again in Africa is not as like wearing the white dress and walk down the aisle. Yeah, that one is surplus, it's bonus as I see it, because what they consider as marriage is just the groom to pay the wife's family. They will pay some money and some bride price, which is like cows and so forth. It depends on what each family wants. So once that is done, we don't necessarily need to wait for the white wedding. They can even allow you now to go and live with the other family. You are now considered as a married woman. So that happened for the second time for me. Then in that marriage, in the second time, it wasn't working. Oh my God, oh boy. So I decided, okay, this is not working. Just the two of us, because it was a lot of abuse, a lot of, drinking and bringing other women within the house, and all sorts of things were happening. Mind you, I'm only around 25. Now I'm deciding again, what is this? How is it going to help me in any way? Because I thought, okay, I've got a child, I should settle. Now I'm settled. I've settled for the second time, and it's not working. He's drinking and a lot of abuses. Sometimes I don't sleep in the house. I'm chased out of the house. Sometimes I'm chased out of the house with a knife, and he's drunk. So I ended up running away from the house and sleeping even outside under a tree. Then in the morning, when you come back in the house, nobody realized you were not there. And he just carries on like everything was normal. It happened a few times. It went on because the problem with my culture is you can't just say when something like that happens once or twice, you want to pack your bags and go back home. You can't. You just have to stay there and manage your life. So when this happened, I thought, oh my God, this is not going to work at all. I can't work properly. I'm supposed to be going to work and I'm having all these problems. Then I decided, oh, no, 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 no. Let me just leave it. I told my parents I can't do it anymore. Then they said, oh, yeah, if you feel it's like that. I was surprised when they agreed that one. So they said, if you feel like that, okay, you can let it go. Then we see what happens next. Okay, I let it go. Then I decided again, the third time, I'm already towards 28, in my 30s. This is the third marriage I'm going to. So I got married again. I found somebody, well, he was very good, very nice at the beginning and everything. He was helping. And I thought, oh my God, this is now the time I can make it. I can make up for last time. Whatever I lost last time, at least this time I'll be happy. I've got somebody else. He had his own children and he was a divorcee. So I didn't care because I had my own child as well. He had 2 boys and 1 girl. Then I thought, oh my God, but I can't say no because I still have to bring my child again into this marriage. So already we've got 4 children. Then I said, okay, fine. He had this small business. He was, up and down all the time. So whenever he goes, I'm still staying home with the kids. Then it became, a problem again. He started sleeping out throughout. I mean, he can go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he still claims he goes for business, but As far as I know, and as far as I'm concerned, that his business doesn't take him that long to be out of our matrimonial home. So I stayed again and waited until it began again. Some other women trying, they were phoning me at home and telling me that they are with him and he's not coming home for that night. Some of them, they were even asking me why I still managed to live with him, yet he's living with them as well. He's having, he was having a double life. Then I said to them, oh, well, it's none of my business, whatever you're doing, because now I'm being, cautious of leaving the third husband. I've lost one, I've divorced one, now this is the third one. Shall I leave him? What shall I do? I have got nobody to tell except one of my uncles who was very much understanding. He knew, he suspected something was happened. He knew because he used to pass through my house all the time just to say hello. Then he realized I wasn't happy as before. Then I explained, I confided with him. Then I told him what was happening. Then my uncle says, oh no, again. Then I said, oh yeah, that's what's happening. So, right, my uncle said, okay, I shall be able to help you financially and see how far it goes. Then my uncle started helping me financially, and I am looking after 4 children by myself. He is never there. When he comes, he doesn't even realize that um, I've been looking after his own children. Right, I waited, and if I ask him, he was being very arrogant and saying a lot of things. At the same time, his girlfriends are phoning my house again and telling me all sorts of things. Now I'm still young and I'm facing all this, and I don't realize how much it's draining me mentality. I'm so tired and exhausted with all this. Then it became the norm to me. Then I said, okay, let me just ignore it. Without knowing, I got pregnant again. Now, this is the problem. I'm pregnant. I'm trying to tell him, look, this is what has happened. We need to be careful. You need to be, honest with me, whatnot, whatnot, whatnot. So we discussed a lot of things. He was, sort of understanding the few days, but then later he decided to start his habit. Then he was going back again, in and out, and sometimes he could go for a month or so without coming back. And the girls are phoning, these ladies, they are phoning me all the time in the house to say, okay, this is what has happened, is with us whilst you are looking after his kids. I'm now angry that I'm looking after his children and he's not coming home. He's not supporting me financially. I'm working with that small job I've got. I've got to look after his family, to dress them, to feed them, and everything which comes with the house. So I have to pay the bills and everything. Then I realized, okay, I told him I'm pregnant. He's not helping. He doesn't want to know. Fine. I waited 2 months, 3 months. The 4th month, I miscarried. I told him I've had a miscarriage. He didn't care. So all of a sudden, I started feeling tummy ache or this ache, whatnot is happening to me, and I don't really understand why it's going on. So I went to the doctors after a week of struggling with my belly ache, and said that was it. And the doctor said, okay, just give me something for it. And they said, okay, go and stay home and we shall see. Don't worry too much. So I waited, and that very week, I miscarried. Then I said to myself, right, this is what has happened. I didn't know, I was just a child, but I realized miscarriage is even painful than having the real baby. So while I struggled, I took myself to hospital, I did everything for myself. And when he comes back, I explained to him what has happened. It's like I'm just explaining to somebody who doesn't care, he doesn't want to know. So I'm now worried, what do I do with all this? This is a dilemma in front of me. I'm looking after his children. I've miscarried. I don't have the energy to do all the things in the house, but I'm still struggling to do them by myself. This is an African woman, my darling. You have to struggle, and I'm struggling doing all this, and he's there. When he comes, he's just asking, where's his food, as if he has bought the food, but he's not buying the food. He's doing, all those things that you expect to get help when such things happen. He's not helping at all. He doesn't care. So I'm worried about what's going on next. Once he left, after that episode, when I explained to him, he left and he just went. And he come back after the other week after, he has known my situation, but he decided to go. And he left me with his kids. I'm still caring for these kids, feeding them, doing everything as usual. I haven't explained anything to his kids, but they're beginning to see that daddy doesn't stay at home as well. So, well, when he comes back, he was like, we need to talk. What are we talking about? Okay, I listened. And he's like, I don't care. I really want to move on with life. Then I said, fair enough. If you want to go, go. Then he left. For me, it was good riddance, to be honest. He left with his children and I stayed with my daughter. Then things were a little bit better for me financially. I could manage now with my only daughter. Then what happened is I had to go to the hospital again, to the doctors, and be seen again. So the doctor's telling me, oh no, it's not looking too good because, he was doing this, So it caused a lot of complications in my womb. So, right, I couldn't bear any more children again after that. And a lot of, sexual health issues. So, right, I got my medication and stayed, and I was strong again. Then I gained my confidence. I started working again, going back to work. All of a sudden, a friend tells me that he's in the sexual hospital around and he's not looking too good. So I said to myself, let me go and check for myself and see what's happening. So I went to this hospital and I found him sleeping in a bed. He was just like a heap of bones and there was no human being there as far as I'm concerned. But he was still there and he was covered with a blanket. So I opened the blanket and I found out it was him, but I couldn't recognize him when I saw him for the first time. The face was all distorted. He was all bones. He was just dying, to be honest. And instead of me having a go at him, I even felt sorry for him because he was already gone in my eyes. Then I just walk away. I just say, okay, God will see you through whatever you've done because you didn't help me anyway. So I walked away. Within a week or so, somebody told me that he's dead. So I went again to his funeral, to his family, and checked. So this is second time around. I'm a widow. I've lost a husband. I've lost 3 husbands, and I'm only 32. Now I'm thinking, what do I do with my life? I told my family this is what has happened. There's nothing they can do much as parents. They can't sit down and discuss with you about, about what goes on in life, about your love affair and so forth. But then when they heard he's dead, then they knew he was dead. So they know I'm a widow, right? In the meantime, nobody really understands how I feel inside, and nobody takes time to ask me, how are you feeling and what do you do from now? Even though I had, I had the opportunity of still seeing someone else and going around again with somebody else, but still in my mind, I'm just thinking, this is a case. How can it happen 1, 2, 3 times? And I'm just in my 30s. Then, enough is enough. I got involved again with somebody else after this one. Then I was able to travel abroad, and that one, he helped me again to live wherever the country I'd fled to to try and disappear from my family. It's the shame, the guilty of just looking at people's eyes and thinking, oh, well, when they look at me, what do they see? When they look at me, how do they, start any conversation with me, because when you are like that now in my culture, you're just a case, because nobody wants to be really around you, be it church, be it anywhere you go. Anyone knows you're around, you're a threat to the, to people who are married. When they look at you, they're thinking, oh my God, there she comes. Because when you dress, they think you're dressing for their husbands. When you go to church, nobody wants to give you any position in church, because they are still thinking, okay, oh, how can we do that? Do you know her? She has been married 3 times, or she has killed so many husbands. So be careful about her. You see, all those things being said to you, and you are listening to those things, is so upsetting in life. So as time goes on, you don't really want to explain to anyone what's going on. So when I left and make up my way to Britain, I was so down in my heart. I still had something quenching in my heart that I needed to correct. But still, I thought, okay, the best thing is to get myself into education and start doing some things for myself, so that I don't get, disappointed with life again. So that's what I did. And still, when you do that, you still come across other people who cheats you, because in this society now, the dating is different. It's not like back home in Africa, where they stop you on the road, or you start talking and getting to know each other. Here, it's very difficult. I was in my 35 years when I came around, and now I'm 50 something. So it was a long time ago, but still you keep trying, because you're a human being. When you want to, you just want to settle as everybody is. Then you see in the process, you find that people are not honest. You find that you come along people who are not trustworthy, who want you for something, who don't want you for what you're experiencing. Is my problem. Nobody else would ever feel how I feel within me. But to correct that, I have to do the right stuff. And this is how I came across all these things, and it was bottling me, until I said to myself, enough is enough. When I came, I started, once I finished my education, whatever I was studying, I decided I want to open my own business. Then I started my business. In the process of doing my business, I was teaching as well. Before then, I was teaching for almost 15 years in colleges. So at the moment, I decided, well, I cannot cry forever. I need to release myself from this shame, from this guilt, from whatever has happened to me, and I need my life to change. So I decided to write my own memoir, about my life. That's how I wrote that book I called Case of Blessing. It was a book meant to help me. Over to you, Marina. Over to you, Marina. Over to you, Marina. Gosh.
Seems that we lost connection.
Yes.
We are going to. Yes, Jossine, are you back?
We did.
We lost. I know our listeners want to hear the rest of your story, and I know you want a key message for today. What is the key message for today for our listeners, Jossine?
The key message for today is whenever you are faced with a problem, don't give up. Be a fighter. Stay fighting so that, you overcome whatever circumstance it is, whatever you have gone through. You mustn't remain and live your life for the past. You need to change yourself and be yourself and have a wonderful life. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Over to you, Marina.
Wow, Justine, your story is so powerful, and I found myself very emotional. It is a different culture, there are different values. People look at people in a different way.
That's
And
right.
I know right now you went through all the through the worst experiences a woman could imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are helping other women to face challenges and embrace them and take control of their life and turn their life into what could be. I know you
Yes.
have a program which is the Spring of Life, through which you are helping other women to understand that them to change their
Yes.
life. And it is the truth, your truth is your truth. And you don't need to think too much of what other people think of you, because that's your truth. You are the only person who experienced that sadness, that horrible experience. So nobody could possibly understand what you've been through.
Yes, that's
But I
right.
think what you are teaching other women around the world is that their past is not their destiny. And you could
That's
reinvent
right.
your life, you could start fresh. You just need to be surrounded by kind people who
Yes.
value you and who make you feel you are a human being. Um, you are not an object. You are not to be abused by anyone, by men or by their habits or by their weakness. And I know you are very grateful for everything that happened to you, because did not really happen to you, happened for you, so you could help other women. And I know you are traveling the world to help other women. And
That's
I can't
right.
wait for your next show to learn what happened when you lived your country of origins and you move to England. I know you are
Yes.
traveling now, but it's very important to see, in order to understand where you are going. I think our listeners will love to know where you are coming from. I loved your
That's right.
story. I'm very grateful for opening your heart. And I know there are so many exciting news for you, and so many people can't wait for you to help them. And I
Yes.
know part of your program is not only that you teach them and help them to embrace their story, but you are helping women to turn pain into power.
That's
And
right.
that is your greatest talent. This is your God-given gift. From both
Absolutely.
of us, until next time, remember, your past is not your destiny. Can't wait to
Amen.
meet you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye, Marina.